Hi everyone! Today we are doing a cozy video where I'm going to talk about how much I made from reselling in November and December. So I tried to sell on 4 platforms: Poshmark, eBay, Depop, and Mercari. And so I'm going to share with you guys how much I made on each one of those platforms in November and December 2025. And these numbers are how much I took home after fees and shipping and everything. So, um, starting with Poshmark in November, I made $0. So I have a couple theories why I haven't made anything on Poshmark yet. I literally haven't sold. So I started my reselling business back up in October, and I haven't made a single sale on Poshmark in the past 3 months. It's interesting because when I was reselling last year in 2024, I pretty much only sold on Poshmark. So I made a good amount of money on Poshmark, and then it wasn't until like towards the end of the year like I started getting into eBay a little bit, but I was mainly only on Poshmark. So I mean, I had high hopes when I started my reselling business again. I was like, number one platform Poshmark, but I haven't sold a single thing. And I think huge reason is because of the sharing, because when I came back to reselling, I just did not want to get the Posher VA extension, which is what I was using last time. So I had a Chrome extension called Posher VA, and it would constantly share my closet for me, because on Poshmark, apparently, like, it's a big deal to be sharing your closet, like sharing with your followers on Poshmark, and that is how your items show up on people's searches. Like if they search Gap white sweatshirt, like if you have a Gap white sweatshirt, if you have just shared your closet within like the past hour or so, your item will show up in the first few listings. But if you haven't shared in a long time, it's going to be like way at the bottom, like past hundreds and hundreds of other items. So that's why sharing is so important. And that's why people get like Chrome extensions to do it for them. So that's what I was doing, but it was so annoying because you have to keep your computer on at all times of the day. Your computer needs to be open and running at all times of the day, and I just don't think that's good for your computer to be like constantly on. Like I think you need to do a shutdown. You need to be doing restarts. I just didn't like having to keep like my computer like plugged in and on at all times. Just I didn't really like that. So when I came back to Poshmark, I did not get Posher VA. And at first I was like just trying to share manually as much as I could. Um but that kind of like dropped off. So I haven't been sharing in a while because I haven't sold anything. So I've kind of given up on Poshmark at this point. Like my Poshmark store is still active, and I'm still kind of deciding whether I'm going to bring it into 2026 or not. I might just drop off Poshmark altogether because I don't know. I'm going to go either way. I'm either going to drop Poshmark off and just not even do it anymore, or I might go fully in, get the Posher VA, because the other problem is Posher VA is like a monthly subscription. So it's like getting another monthly subscription, you know, like I already have List Perfectly. So still deciding, do I want to get that or not? Stay tuned. Okay. But moral of the story is Poshmark, I made $0 in November, and spoiler alert, $0 in December as well. So doing great so far. Okay, moving on to Mercari. So the first thing I sold on Mercari was a Roxy floral beach dress, and I love this dress. This was just a dress from my closet that I had bought, I think from Sierra, or yeah, Sierra, which is like a store like TJ Maxx. Um, so it was just like my dress, but I just one of those things that I love it, but I just never really wore it. So I added it to my reselling stores and it sold. And I only made $5.91 on it, but that's okay because it probably wasn't super expensive and it was just from my closet. So I took home $5.91. The second thing that I sold on Mercari in November was a pair of Target Knox Rose denim joggers. So I just had them in my closet and decided to add them to my reselling business this year. And I made $8.22 on those. And then the third thing that I sold on Mercari was a pair of Sanita black leggings. If you guys haven't heard of Sanita, you should go check them out immediately. They are my favorite athletic brand. They have so many fun colors and fun patterns, and they're pretty affordable, and they have sales all the time, and I just love Sanita. Anytime I need like athletic wear, I'm going to Sanita. They also have a second-hand platform through Sanita, which I love shopping on there because I, as you know, love shopping secondhand. I always go secondhand before going retail. And so I've bought so many things on the Sanita secondhand website. So highly recommend to check them out. So those leggings were just from my closet and I sold them and took home $16.32. So those were the only 3 things that I sold on Mercari in November. Keeping in mind, November was my second month being open for business. I started like mid to late October 2025. So not bad selling 3 things on Mercari for like my first month and a half being open. So I took home $30.45 total from Mercari in November. Moving on to eBay. The first thing I sold on eBay in November was a Peruvian Connection like knit or crochet tank top. This was again just from my own closet. I had bought this at a yard sale over the summer for myself, but then when I wanted to make some money reselling, I was like, I know that Peruvian Connection is a good brand to sell, so I added it to my store. And I took home $16.32, which is pretty good for like a tank top. So be on the lookout for Peruvian Connection brand. Love that brand. The next thing was a black and orange flannel that my dad donated to me from his closet. So again, I didn't have any money like spent on these items that are like from my closet or like from my family. So I took home $15.74 on that. I also sold a Rocky Mountain National Park turquoise embroidered t-shirt. I love this t-shirt that I sold. It is just such a pretty color and it has like little wildflowers embroidered on it and it's so pretty and dainty, and I was so excited to see that sell, and I hope the person that received it loves it just as much as I did. I probably got that from Rocky Mountain National Park, and I decided to just clean out I cleaned out like all of my closet to find stuff to put in my reselling stores. And I cleaned out like all of my t-shirts because I have so many t-shirts. And I have found that my national park and like outdoorsy themed t-shirts have really been selling. You'll see like a few more on here. And that makes me happy because I love like hiking and national park and outdoorsy related stuff. So it made me really happy to see those kinds of things sell because those are the things that I love like buying and working with. So something else going into 2026, I might just be more on the lookout for like national park related teas and like places and stuff like that. So that was a fun one to sell, and I took home $9.09 on that one. The last thing that I sold on eBay in November was a Gap navy blue knit pants. So these pants I got in my Gap box from New Source, which I posted a video on me unboxing my Gap New Source box. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's an inventory box specifically for resellers. So it was my first box ever. And so I unboxed it and filmed it and loved that box. So this was I believe it was my first sale on that Gap box. I was so excited about that because I was nervous buying that box. So I was like, oh my gosh, what if nothing sells? So first sale on that Gap box. Those pants were so cute. I was so excited to sell them. They are just like the perfect winter comfy pants, like knit. They were like wide legs, so cute. I'm just imagining them with like UGG platforms. I was so excited about those. So I took home $22.86 on those. So pretty good sale. So total on eBay in November was $64.01. So moving on to Depop, the first thing I sold in November were a pair of brown Tronjory wide leg like work pants. They were like slacks, professional pants. I sold those for $5.05, so nothing crazy. Those pants were just from my wardrobe. I had also found those at a yard sale this summer that I bought for myself, but they were like way too big on me. And I was thinking like, oh, I'll get them hemmed. And it's like, I just never got them hemmed. So I just sold them. Not bad sale. Okay. Second thing I sold on Depop was a Gap like mauve purplish pink sweatshirt. I took home $9.92 on that. That was something I already had in my closet. The next thing that I sold on Depop was a Free People cropped Sherpa sweatshirt. This is also from my own closet that I got for myself at Plato's Closet, and I ended up just decluttering it and selling because I have so many Sherpas. I love a Sherpa. So I took home $17.62 on that one. So that was a pretty good sale. The next thing I sold on Depop was a Zion National Park t-shirt. See what I mean about these National Park t-shirts? And I love that they're selling because something I've been thinking about is like, I love to go to a national park and I love to go to the gift shop. And it's like, I try really hard to like buy mainly secondhand, and not buy as much retail. But my weakness is like when I go somewhere new and I go to the gift shop, it's like I want to get I love a souvenir. Like I want to get like a t-shirt from the place that I'm visiting. Like that is such a weakness of mine. And so I've been thinking like it'd be really cool if I, instead of doing that, just like, you know, if I'm going to a national park, like if I just bought from eBay like a cute vintage sweatshirt from that national park, like before I go to the national park, that would be better. So that's something that's been on my mind that I've been wanting to start doing. And so it makes me happy that other people are buying like national park merch from my reselling stores. So anyway, love selling those. I took home $8.18 from that Zion National Park tee. The fifth thing that I sold on Depop was a bundle for more national park tees. So I sold an Everglades long sleeve tee. It was cropped. I got this from Plato's Closet, I think from the 90% off sale, but I had gotten that for myself because I was like, oh, cute, Everglades. But I just ended up not really wearing it. And then I sold that in a bundle with a Wyoming tee that was so pretty. This was also just from my own closet that I just decluttered. I think it was Target brand, but it was a really pretty scene with like a deer and like the mountains and like birds. I thought it was so pretty. So I took home $7.07 from this bundle. Now, something I will say, I have a couple bundles in here from Depop, and I've realized I have my store on Depop set up for if you buy 2 or more things, you get free shipping. And I've been realizing like I might need to take that off. I thought it sounded like a good idea, but like I really lose money on those bundle sales doing free shipping because then I'm paying like double shipping to ship 2 items. And now I'm paying for the shipping. So usually it ends up being like 2 for the price of 1 usually. So I'll also be thinking through like, do I want to keep that sale on my store or not? Or maybe just do it like here and there, but not like all the time. Because yeah, it's basically like doing a BOGO 2 for 1 because shipping usually costs for me the same amount as like I would make on one of these shirts. So anyways, I took home $7.07 on both of those tees. But I'm glad that person got like a bundle of 2 cute outdoorsy tees. Like the last thing I sold on Depop in November was a Gap gray cable knit sweater. This was also from the Gap box from New Source. I was so excited about this sweater because I thought it was really nice. Like it just like felt like a nice quality sweater. I was really happy with it and really happy to sell it. And I made a good sale on this. I took home $25.95. So I was excited about that. Total for Depop in November was $74.87. And so total between Mercari, eBay, and Depop in November, I took home $169.33. So yay. That was my total for November. And then now it's January 2nd, so I was like, might as well just add in December sales as well. So December, as we know with Poshmark, big whopping $0. So stay tuned about what we're doing about Poshmark. Okay, Mercari, okay, let me just preface actually before we get into December. December was a rough month for me personally because I have a full-time job outside of this, clearly. I mean, I can't live on making $100 in a month. So I have a full-time job, and that job really took over in December. I was like very busy with my job, and like with the holidays, like we traveled to see family, you know, it was a whole thing. December was very busy, and I was literally just trying to make it through. I was like just trying to survive. So I had higher hopes like going into December. We still had some great sales, but I wasn't able to put in like as much work into all of my platforms because I was just like hanging on by a thread in December. So, which I'm telling myself like it's okay, you know, it's okay to go through seasons, because what had happened before, so the reason I quit because I keep saying like, oh, last time I had my reselling business. In 2024, I started my reselling business. But then in 2025, I got laid off of my job, like my full-time job, and I had to get a new job. And so I was really like stressed out about my new job, and it was just like a lot. So I decided like, let me just quit doing my side gig reselling business because it's just too much for me to handle right now with like me trying to do this new job. And so I decided to quit quit the reselling business because I just like, it was just a lot. Well, months later, I decided like I really miss my reselling business. Like I love doing it. So I decided to bring it back, and here we are today. But December was just a really busy, hard month. And like those feelings started coming back of like, wow, like should I have never started the reselling business, because now I'm having a busy month and I feel like I don't have time to like keep doing this, and like should I quit again? And I decided that it's okay if I go through a busy season where I don't have a ton of time to put into the business, because the beauty of reselling business is like you can put in as much or as little time as you want, and obviously that's going to show like the more time you put in, the more money you're gonna make, and the less time you put in, like you're not gonna make any money, which I've seen in December. Like the last few weeks of December, I did not have any time to put any time into my business, and it showed because like I didn't get any sales. But that doesn't mean like I have to quit if I have a rough month or a rough few weeks. I've decided that I can just like keep going and just like pick it back up as the time allows. So that's kind of what I'm trying to bring into 2026, is just like taking the pressure off of, because I had put so much pressure on myself in like November and December. Like I was like, you have to like put in all this work. And then when I wasn't able to do it, I was like, great, should I just quit? But I think like it's okay to go through seasons where we don't have a ton of time, and we'll just pick it back up as the time allows, and like once we're feeling the motivation, and all will be well. So that being said, going into sales for 2025 in December, I had one sale on Mercari. I had one sale on Mercari and one sale on eBay, which I'll get to. And that is because I really focused on Depop in December, because again, I had very limited time. But Depop they did free shipping for Cyber Monday. And so I really focused on getting everything that I have listed onto Depop so that I could be ready for the free shipping for Cyber Monday. And it really paid off, and I had a lot of sales on that Cyber Monday, which I was so excited about. But then because I was like having a rough month, I didn't get everything cross-posted to Mercari and eBay, which is why like I had basically no sales on Mercari and eBay, and I had a lot of sales on Depop. So really focused on Depop in December. But my one sale on Mercari in December was a pair of Roan by Bed Stew booties. They're like little leather boots. I, again, had just pulled these from my own closet. I bought these for myself from Sierra. I love Sierra. And they just ended up, like, I wore them just a couple times, and they just, like, weren't super comfortable. So I decided, like, these are a really good brand, and I'll just sell them since, like, they're not perfect for myself. So I took home $31.87, and that was my total for Mercari. And then for eBay, I sold a Gap taupe like bodycon dress. Again, oh, this actually was from the Gap box from New Source. And I was really excited about this dress because it was like a pretty good quality dress and I thought it was super cute. So I took home $24 and that was my total for eBay as well. Okay, so then going into Depop in December, I had 13 sales on Depop in December, which I was so excited about. I mean, which is a awesome improvement because I had 6 sales on Depop in November. So doubled my sales, which is great. A lot of those sales came from Cyber Monday, which was on December 1st. That was my best sales day I have ever had. It was a great day. Like, I was so happy that I like put in the work to get everything listed onto Depop in time. Literally so December 1st, Cyber Monday, was a Monday. And on Sunday, I worked all day, literally just taking pictures of stuff and listing it. I was working like literally putting my iPhone to work. Like the sun, so I work on natural lighting when I take pictures for items, and the sun had set because I always have to take pictures like in the middle of the day when the sun is out to get like good natural lighting. But the sun had set. It was like 5 p.m. and I still like was taking pictures, but I was like, I don't even care. My iPhone was doing like night mode and like still taking pictures of stuff. So some of the pictures ended up kind of dark, but I posted them anyway because I was like, I need to get these up. So anyway, the hard work paid off because December 1st was like an amazing sales day. And I was just so excited seeing all the sales come in. That was like a big win that I needed. So thank you, Depop, for doing free shipping on Cyber Monday. That like helped me a ton. The first thing that I sold on Depop was a Gap oversized denim jacket, again from the Gap box from New Source. This is a really good quality denim jacket. I took home $23.66. The second thing was a Gap green sweater, also from the Gap box from New Source. I took home $12.80 on that. Another sale from that same Gap box was a striped cream and navy sweater, like a pullover, and I took home $7.13 from that one. The next thing I sold on Depop was a Madewell gray mock neck pullover, like a sweatshirt. I had gotten this at Plato's Closet on Black Friday. They were having like a Black Friday BOGO sale. So I had gotten a big haul, which I also posted that haul on my YouTube channel. So check that out. But I took home $16.92 from that one. And then another item from my Gap box was a gray vintage sweatshirt. I was curious how this one was going to sell because it's definitely like an out-of-date brand. But I was like, but it's like vintage, which like vintage as in like 2000s probably. But I was so happy that it sold. But I took home $7.09 on that one. The next thing was a Thunderbird shirt, which I showed that in my haul video from my Plato's Closet haul. That was another one that I got at the Plato's Closet Black Friday sale. It was just a really cute like Western shirt. I took home $4.42 on that. Next sale was a bundle. So I sold a Lucky Brand pink sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt. It's like a little fairy garden in a sweatshirt. It had like a little butterfly, a little bird, little flowers. So cute. And then I sold that in a bundle with a BKE like turquoise long sleeve shirt. I took home $14.97 from that bundle. The next item I sold, I was happy to sell a couple Christmas themed items that I had got from the Plato's Closet Black Friday sale. And I was just, because on Black Friday, like, you're so excited about Christmas, so I was like excited about selling Black Friday, or not Black Friday, Christmas related stuff. So I picked up this green cowboy Christmas sweatshirt. It was really cute. It had like a little like cowboy boot on it. And I took home $8.13 from that. I was really happy to see it sell for Christmas. And then I sold another Christmas sweatshirt. It was a red sweatshirt that said Mary on it. I also got that from Plato's Closet. And just a really fun item to sell for Christmas. I took home $13.41. I did pretty good on, so I got that big haul from Plato's Closet. A lot of these sales in December were from that haul, which is nice. The next item is also from that Plato's Closet haul. It was a Prana, like, burnt orange long sleeve shirt, and I took home $21.47. The next one, also from the Plato's Closet haul, was an Aerie sweatshirt. This one was like a dark gray 3/4 like button up. So cute. And I love Aerie. So whenever I see Aerie at Plato's Closet, like, I usually pick it up. It's like not even like a huge money maker. It might be like a bread and butter like a bread and butter brand, because it's not like, you know, a huge like expensive, it's not like, you know, a name brand like expensive item, but Aerie sells pretty fast for me, and you can make like a decent amount. Like, I took home $13.58 on that sweatshirt. And then the next, actually the last 3 items are all Aerie sweatshirts, so might be bread and butter. The next sale on Depop was an Aerie yellow sweatshirt. It was just like a cute oversized like yellow pullover, and I took home $23.22 on that. And then my last sale in December came in December 31st, was a bundle. I sold an American Eagle button up, like a shacket. It was like, it had a hood, kind of like a hoodie / button up / shacket. And I loved the color on that one. That I got it from Plato's Closet, but a while ago, and for myself. So I had pulled that from my own closet. And then I sold it in a bundle with an Aerie sweatshirt that I got from that Plato's Closet haul on Black Friday. And that one was like a taupe, super soft pullover. I was really excited. I wanted to keep that for myself, honestly. But I took home $14.48 on that bundle. Lost a little bit of money because of the shipping. Again, because it was like free shipping since they bought 2 items. But my total on Depop for December was $182.09. So my grand total take-home amount from Depop, eBay, and Mercari in December was $237.96. So that is how I did in November and December on my reselling platforms. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for 2026. Bye.